Okay, let's see. 7 ways to know you're ready to ride a motorcycle. Let me think about that for a second. Okay, you gotta have a motorcycle. 2 is you gotta have a helmet. 3 is you grew up on dirt bikes, you already know how to ride. But okay, obviously I'm joking. Getting ready to hop on a motorcycle can at times oscillate between stupid, simple, and overwhelmingly complicated depending on how much time you've spent on YouTube. Someone will say that you need to get a whole bunch of stuff, and others will say you should just dive right in. Today I'm going to attempt to strike a middle ground between those two, but before I do, let me say this. At a certain point, you just need to make the call and give it a go. If you're looking for some foolproof checklist, I don't have it. No one does. Riding a bike is risky, and knowing how and when to take the gamble of getting on a two-wheel death machine is your call, and only you can make it. The buck's gotta stop somewhere, and in this case, it stops at you. However, I'm going to give you the things that I did, or at least I wish I did in hindsight. All of these things are going to be simple enough to do that for most people, you can get this knocked out all before the riding season really kicks off and enjoy a nice long summer season. Before we get too far into this one though, I need to take a second and thank all the folks over on YammieNoob.co. It's because of all of those folks that we're able to ride and give away so many bikes, and it's thanks to them that I'm shouting all these words into a microphone right now. If you like what we do and want to support us, click that link down below and find out how. Not only will you get access to our Discord server, but you'll also get entered to win a bunch of cool motorcycles. We've got a ton of bikes up for grabs right now, and the MT09 giveaway is wrapping up in just a couple of days, so your time is running out to get signed up for that one. If you want to get entered to win, but you don't want to hang out with all of us cool kids in the Discord, you can head over to YammieNoobMerch.com and get yourself a t-shirt, a hat, or whatever else you want, and every dollar you spend there is a chance to win. But if all you want to see is the Turbo Busa, then you gotta subscribe. The Busa will be turboed at 1 million subscribers, and it will be as epic as you think it should. So if you haven't subscribed already, it's your fault the Turbo Busa hasn't been revealed. Now let's dive in with perhaps the most obvious thing that you should be doing, and that's sign up for and complete the MSF course. The second part is important because some folks might take the MSF course, get most of the way through it, and then fail the practical portion and think, that's good enough. But before we get to that, let's back it up for a second. The MSF, or Motorcycle Safety Foundation, is a weekend course where you spend some time in the classroom learning about motorcycles, how they handle different cars, take a 20-question test, and then you get to take one out on the road. Look, I'm not gonna lie, the in-class portion sucks. I think it's a waste of your time. If you're watching this video, chances are you've already watched enough YouTube videos to know where things are in the handlebars and how they work and so on. I sure know I did. But it's the practical portion where you're out on the range that really matters. You'll spend a day or two on the bikes learning how to ride. You'll practice your friction zones, slow speed maneuvers, panic stops, all sorts of useful skills that are then boiled down into the stupidest 4 or 5 part test I've ever seen. Oh wow, Timmy, you managed to do a figure 8 in a box. Now you're ready to go out and ride. No, you're simply not. But don't let my disapproval of the test dissuade you. The MSF is an incredibly important way to familiarize yourself with a motorcycle in a low stakes setting on a bike that you don't care about. And like the name implies, it gives you a foundation in riding a motorcycle. Once you're done with the MSF, you get a little slip that you take to the DMV, and in America that means you're ready to hop on a Turbo Busa ZH2 or any other coked up hyperbike you could ever want. However, in reality, you're really only certified to ride in a parking lot. This is the most important step, but it's only one step. Number 2, buy your first full set of gear. When you sign up for the MSF, you need to have a helmet, gloves, closed-toed shoes, a shirt with sleeves that cover your entire arms, and full-length pants. That's not motorcycle gear. Any helmet with a DOT sticker is allowed in an MSF course, which means that you can run off to Menards, get a paint bucket, and you'll be just fine. No, my dude, you need to buy yourself a full kit of motorcycle gear. That's a helmet with a DOT and an ECE sticker, gloves, riding jacket, motorcycle boots, and if you want to go the whole 9 yards, get a set of motorcycle pants. The helmet is obvious, right? But if you're looking for a decent choice, I would suggest the Bell MX-9 Adventure MIPS. Why? Because it's cheap, it has ECE stickers, and it's got a little slip plane which helps protect your noodle in a spill. Nice. If you don't like the peak, you can take it off and have a fairly sporty looking lid. As for jackets, there's a million choices in a million different styles, but the one thing that you need to make sure you have is at least CE level 1 impact protection in the shoulders and elbows, and then buy yourself a separate back protector. Pick a style that fits your bike and your ideal look. That way you'll be more likely to wear it. Who wants to look like a high-vis banana after all? As for boots, I ride an A-Stars SMX perforated boots. They're not the cheapest, but they have great protection and they've held up really well to a year of abuse and almost daily rides. If you want some style advice, your gloves should match your jacket, but in reality, the only thing that matters is that they have some form of palm protection to save your wrists in a spill. You know my stance on riding pants, but if you want some good options, Fort 9 has great gear reviews. Third, let your parents, significant other, friends, or whoever know that you're going to start riding a motorcycle. Don't say that you're thinking about it, say that you're going to do it. I've seen a lot of people say that their parents were against them riding, so they just showed up one day with a bike to call their bluff, but that's a horrible idea. Trust me, I started riding for about 6 months before telling my folks that I had bought a motorcycle, and the whole time it was in the back of my mind wondering how I was going to break the news. Don't do what I did. Instead, tell your folks that you're going to ride before you even get the motorcycle. Don't get me wrong, you're not trying to get their blessing because oftentimes they won't be happy about it, but just let them know. You can do some things to soften the blow, like show them your gear, show them your M-Class endorsement, which means that you've actually gone out and taken the class, and if you're being responsible, show them your first bike, show them that it's not some stupid fast squid missile. The main reason that you need to let the important people in your life know that you're doing this is unfortunately a little morbid. If the worst happens, you'd rather not have them find out that you've been keeping some secret life from them on top of all of the rest that's going to be going on. Okay, now that we've got the morbid and legal protective crap out of the way, let's get into some fun stuff. Number 4, pick your first motorcycle. Oh yeah, the whole reason that you've decided to start this motorcycling journey to run out and purchase the wrong motorcycle.
Wait, what?
Yep, you heard me. Chances are that you've picked the wrong motorcycle as your starter bike. Why? Because you have no experience on 2 wheels. Want to know how I know? Because I picked the wrong starter bike not once, but twice. I wanted to start out on an Indian Scout 60, which would have been a horrible idea, but I did start on a Harley Street 750, and that was a worse idea for completely different reasons. Don't get me wrong, I had fun on the bike, but in retrospect, these were not the kinds of motorcycles that I liked. They were too expensive, and they weren't good tools to learn on. Now I know what you're thinking.
Oh boy, here comes another lecture on starting on a small bike from the beginner bike police.
But you'll be happy to know I'm not actually going to tell you what bike to start on. What I am going to tell you is that you've probably picked a style of motorcycle because you think it's cool. Maybe you like watching GP and you think you want to go to the track and be a fast boy, so you get something like an RC 390, but after a while you realize that you've spent 95% of your time on the street in traffic and it's hot and uncomfortable. Or you thought you wanted a Harley because they're the best cruisers around and you didn't realize that there are some really great metric cruiser options out there. There's a huge variety of motorcycles, even within styles. So before you run out and buy your first bike, see if you can ride a friend's motorcycle or take a test ride on a bunch of different kinds of motorcycles. Even if you don't think it's for you, you never know when you might find a discipline of riding you've never thought of. 5th, buy your motorcycle. The time has come. You've done the research, you've taken some test rides, and now you know which one is the right one. This is hands down the most exciting part of the whole process for me because I bought a brand new showroom shiny Harley Davidson, and I was as proud as a new dad. It's gonna be the same for you, but if you decide to buy a bike new, here's a few tips. First of all, save up at least 20% down on the motorcycle. It's always nice to walk in with some cash. Second, never accept the first or second offer the finance guy gives you. And if they're not willing to work with you on pricing, wait until the salesperson or finance person gets back, let them get about 2 sentences into their "this is the lowest I can go" speech, and then just get up and walk away. It might seem rude, but if the numbers aren't right, it's not worth buying the motorcycle. There's always another one out there. Plus, if they really want to sell you that bike bad enough, they'll get back in touch with you with a better offer. If you're buying used, have a mechanically savvy friend tag along. They'll be able to notice any problem with the bike that you might not. Unfortunately, you're probably not going to be able to bargain as much as you would with a dealership. You're not going to get $1,000 off like you might with some special pricing. You'll also need to have all the purchase price in cash. To be honest though, I'm more in the buy it new camp if you can afford it. It's really just easier. 6th, buy insurance. Yep, back to boring stuff again. I'm sorry, but not only is insurance super important to have in case of an accident, but pretty much everywhere it's a legal requirement, so you can't even ride without having it. Also, you gotta do it in this order because you can't buy insurance before you get the motorcycle. You actually need to have the VIN number for your particular bike to get the right insurance. Now, like with a lot of things that you're forced to buy but you don't want to, you might be tempted to go out and get your state's minimum required insurance to save a few bucks here or there, but in a lot of places, that means that you're simply carrying liability for if you crash into something that doesn't belong to you. If you carry super minimum insurance and then go low side all by yourself on a ride, you're on the hook for all the damage to your motorcycle. Now, I know what you're thinking. How bad could it possibly be to fix up a motorcycle? Couple $100? You wish. I had a super small whoopsie daisy on my street rod one time where I hit a stationary object at like 5 miles an hour, and in 2 seconds of stupidity, I racked up over $2,400 in damages. You'd be surprised how expensive things are on a motorcycle, and if you don't have the coin to pay for the repairs, that's on you. 7. Practice. Yep, you might have gone out and done everything on this list and think you're ready to go, but all you know how to do is ride a motorcycle in a parking lot. Maybe you've been on the street once or twice on a buddy's bike, but you're not ready for everything the street has to throw at you. Not only that, but motorcycling is a craft. It's not just a way to get from point A to point B, but a skill that you can develop for the rest of your life. A lot of people just take the MSF course, get their bike, and think they're all set, but there's so much more to learn. Mastering throttle control, body position, even some dumb stuff like wheelies and skids are all worth practicing. Think about it this way. If you're baking a cake, you don't just chuck the batter in the oven at 375 for 30 minutes and then serve it when the bell dings. You need to decorate it, garnish it, and make it look good. It's the same thing for riding, but at the end of the day, you gotta get out on your bike and go have some fun. Fact, as part of David Hasselhoff's divorce settlement, he kept possession of the nickname The Hoff and the catchphrase, "Don't hassle the Hoff."
So real bummer, this video is actually over, but you're in luck. There are hundreds of other Yammie Noob videos you can go and check out. Hit this one right over here. Watch it. Do it for Yammie-chan.